Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules. Rule number 1. No touching of the hair or face.
Of course.
And that's it!
You play as a unicorn.
I see assholes like you
Every fucking day. Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here!
Not up in here! Ma, the meatloaf!
Unfortunately, I think the amateur status of the company has come through, and they bit off more than they can chew.
And I feel totally embarrassed about that whole scenario.
Welcome to Game Theory. Join me, your host Souls, and my co-hosts, Tastes Like Chicken, Hey Carnut, and Lemon, as we discuss the latest gaming topics. Oh no. Oh no! I did it again.
Steve! Do something with this guy, please!
Alright guys, welcome to Game Theory number 6. I'd like to welcome my guests today, co-hosts Hey Carnut, TL Chicken, Lemon, and Pulstorm. How's it going, guys?
Pleasure to be here.
Heyo.
Hello.
Alright, so we got quite a few topics for today. Let's start off with Payday the Heist. It came out a few days ago. Personally, I thought it was going to be kind of a mediocre game, but I was pleasantly surprised. It had, for $20, that's a pretty big steal. I mean, it's a low price, good gameplay, and the concept's great. What do you guys think, Chicken?
Yeah, it's well worth the $20, I think. It's a little bit short, only 6 levels, but it's a ton of fun when you're playing with some buddies trying to complete the missions, because, man, it's tough.
What do you think, Lemon? Have you played it?
Excuse my ignorance, but I haven't had a lot of time the last couple of weeks. Could you guys explain to me what Payday the Heist is, actually? Because I haven't got a clue.
You want to do that, Chicken?
Go for it.
Sure. It's basically a cops and robbers game. You're trying to steal from a bank. It's like Left 4 Dead with guns and without the zombies. Your objective is to... Well, it depends on the level, obviously, but you can use hostages as to get back your teammates if they're dead. Kind of like how Left 4 Dead, if you open a brick, like an office or something where they're located, you can save them. It's very strategic. It reminds me a lot of the Left 4 Dead teamwork. I think you would enjoy it.
Nice. That does sound pretty cool. So it's $20, is it?
Yeah, and it's only like 3.4 gigabytes or something like that. It might even be less than that.
Well, size isn't really a problem. Definitely going
to
check out.
That's not what she said.
Well, it's always what you do with the size.
True. Karna, what did you think of the game? I know you had a few comments.
Yeah, I think for $20, it's a load of fun. I haven't played any co-op yet because a couple of buddies that tweeted they were going to be on to play never showed up. So don't know what to say about that. But the single player was pretty amusing. Although it does only have 6 basic levels, they change every time you play. Parts of things required to complete objectives move around. People involved in the objectives move around differently. The waves of law enforcement are different. So it, much like Left 4 Dead, it feels different every time you play it, just because things are in different places and the enemy or good guys, depending on your phraseology, change their behavior and locations. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to trying out in co-op.
You know what I noticed? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, there'll be a tweet going out to Carnut for game time, but the random AI placement makes it it's that much harder, because every time you start a level, for instance, the first level, you got to find the bank manager right off the start. Well, sometimes he's right in the middle of the lobby. Other times he's up getting a blowjob in one of the offices. So you got to look around for all the different things, and it's different every time, and it just makes it so much more challenging. But yeah, forgot what I was going to say there. Sorry.
No worries. Personally, I just wanted to add the levels are pretty different. Easy mode is still kind of challenging, and I haven't even tried past normal, so I won't comment on that. But I will say that once you get used to easy, it's a piece of cake to complete it. But normal raises it a bit, and I can only imagine what hard and overkill brings to the game. It's a pretty tough game at higher levels.
So,
And
excuse me, sorry.
go on.
Is there any mod tools or SDK or map editor for that?
No, I don't think they're releasing it. Could be wrong. I don't know. They did say they're going to be releasing some more co-op missions and stuff.
Okay, that's good as well.
Yeah, last I saw, it was not something that was on their table because they just needed to get the game out because it was delayed for PC. I think something to do with the PlayStation Network because Sony is the publisher, I believe, for the game. So something happened. The PC copy was delayed a few days, so they just want to get out the door. But I think the game is doing better than they anticipated. So, if everybody keeps buying the game and playing it, then that'll be some incentive for them to give some more content.
And
Absolutely.
It's on Steam?
Yes. And it was on sale, I believe, for $17.99 before it came out. It was doing quite well, yeah. Moving on to the next topic, we got Modern Warfare 3. Not much to talk about there. I mean, it's not really marketed that well. I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of not. They did a little bit better job marketing it last year. But what do you guys think? I know Chicken, you have a lot to say on this.
Well, where to start? We could beat the already dead horse some more by saying IWNet all over again. We're not getting the true dedicated servers that we were promised. We were kind of told that everything would be COD 4 style, a throwback to the last real game that everybody knows and loves. But, again, they had to still screw with us a little bit, take away some features, call them better, and kind of just change the game on us. It's not something we were really looking for, but they decided to hand it to us, and as a consequence, I won't be handing them my money.
Yeah, even for co-op and single player, I just can't justify spending that much. It's the same thing. I mean, I would spend 40 or 50, but I just think 60 is too much for that.
Well, I was really hoping that they would sell me on the game. Coming into the last month before release, I was looking for some information to help, get me to spend my money, shell out for a game that I wasn't really going to buy, but hey, they sold me on it, so I'm going to buy it anyways and play it and enjoy it. But for a single player and co-op game, $60 is just too much. I can't rationalize spending that now. I'm not saying I'm not going to buy it ever, but not off the get-go.
What do you think, Lemon? And then we'll go to Paul Storm.
Well, it's just actually baffling my mind how they could include RWNet again. The only thing that I actually do like, kinda, is that in the dedicated... Sorry. Sorry, oh god.
You okay?
Let's move on.
Cat hair again? Stop looking at cat.
Yeah, cat hair, something like that. Anyway, the only thing that I actually kind of like is that in the unranked dedicated servers, whatever they are, you can actually limit or you can actually set the weapon levels, so that does away with all this unlocking crap. I mean, I hate unlocks. I hate basically having to play in order to get all the weapons in the game. I'm kind of old school in that regard, and with the unranked servers, when a server admin can't just say, okay, everybody got all weapons, all the unlocks, that's fine by me, actually, kinda. I'm not gonna get it, probably, but maybe when it's on sale in 5 years and it it costs $40 instead of 60. You know, Activision.
Yeah. What do you think, Paul Storm?
Well, yeah, in the UK it's about £10 dearer than Battlefield 3. Get less for your money. It's not really the type of game I'm going to be going after. But for me, one of the major issues is that guy of bowling, how he manipulates and twists things and tries to sell you something that it's not really is. It's just left a bad taste in my mouth, and I just stay well clear of it.
So then it's not really about the, I guess, the dedicated servers. It's just the game seems to be just more of the same, basically.
Well, it's a lot to do with the game itself. But I mean that the CM hasn't really helped matters because the way they just twist words and redefine meanings of words like dedicated servers, and it's going to be COD 4 like, and I don't see any resemblance to Call of Duty 4, to be honest with you, apart from the fact that you might be able to run an unranked server direct from your PC, which is pretty crap anyway.
To be honest, I think if they just, it's their market is console, and we know that, they know that. So I would appreciate any feature they give us, but in the end of the day, if the game's fun, it's fun. I just can't see myself having fun with that game. I don't think it would be fun. I mean, I certainly can try it later on, but who knows?
Agreed.
I mean, it might be fun for some guys, but I mean, for me, sitting in lobbies, listening to, I know you can mute all that voice chat and people making comments to each other and all the rest of it, but, you know, migrating when the host quits and host having possibly better advantage due to ping, that type of thing. There's no way to play a PC game. I mean, come on, we got dedicated servers. There's no need for that peer-to-peer stuff on a PC game.
I just want to make one point about the dedicated servers. The dedicated server argument is great, and I like them, but the reason I would say people get good experiences on such games like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 2, whatever game has a high amount of players, is because unless you're running a data center from your house or something equivalent to that, a very highly stable connection, it's just not practical because it would take someone with lots of money to be able to do that. And Battlefield 3, I don't exactly like the ranked server stuff, the ranked provider stuff, how you have to go through certain providers. But at the same time, you have a limited selection of people that you know you most likely can trust. I mean, obviously you should go to your friends, do research and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, a dedicated server is supposed to provide a better experience, especially at higher player counts, and I think that's what people are looking for. Is most people don't give a rat's ass about dedicated servers, but they don't know any better. They don't know about dedicated servers. What they do know is that when they join a dedicated server, they get a much better playing experience, but they don't know that's a dedicated server. That's my point.
Well, I wouldn't say most, but I think a good chunk of them do. But just to kind of flip the switch a little bit, I think Rob, last time we talked, he said he was going to bite the bullet and pick up the game for different reasons other than the multiplayer, I think. So, Rob, can you just kind of fill us in on what you're sort of looking forward to?
Yeah, I bought it. I'm going to play it. I don't really give a damn about dedicated servers and stuff, and I think Soul's assertion is correct. The vast majority of gamers don't give a damn about them. In fact, probably don't even know what they are. And the bottom line is the game fun to play? And do I have a good experience playing it? And I'm willing to take the gamble on it and see if the game has gameplay that amuses me.
Are you purchasing it for multiplayer to run and gun and shoot up people, or are you playing for the single player and perhaps the co-op?
I'm mostly interested in single player and co-op.
So would you say, do we all agree that for multiplayer aspect of the game, a dedicated server would obviously work better?
No, we don't agree to that. There's plenty of games that are peer-to-peer that work just fine, and if you didn't tell people they were peer-to-peer, they wouldn't even know. The frankly, the whining and entitlement that is still growing to a crescendo in the PC gaming world, it reminds me of the friggin' Occupy Wall Street freaks. It's a tiny, 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 but very vocal slice of the community. The reality is the vast majority of gamers really could care less where the activity is happening as long as they're presented with a reasonable performing and fun gaming experience.
Well, and here comes the problem with, IWNet has in the past shown its limitations. I mean, if you look at Modern Warfare 2, the amount of cheaters in there is incredible, to be honest.
I mean, what Rob was saying is true. I think in respect to the lone wolf type, casual type player, but here in Europe, Call of Duty 4 and most of the COD games is very, very clan focused. Massive competitive community over here, and everybody I know that plays Call of Duty 4 is in a clan or is part of a clan. Got 18 slots on these unranked servers. Oh, I've got 30 guys in our clan, right? And I know at any given time there's going to be 10, 12 of us on. So how's that going to work? What, we're going to invite 4 public guys? This doesn't work for us.
Well, here's the problem. Like Carnett said, the people that care about the dedicated servers, and in some sense I think many people that care about the dedicated servers, it's the experience that matters. And what I'm trying to bring across the table is when you have a dedicated server, regardless of if the person knows about it or doesn't know about it, in my opinion, especially at higher player counts, it seems like a much smoother experience. Now, again, if it's at lower player counts, I don't know. I haven't ever played Modern Warfare 2, so I have no opinion on that. Maybe someone else could shed some light on that as to how it was. Have any of you played Modern Warfare 2?
I actually have. I can tell you that the matchmaking that I've experienced Modern Warfare 2 on a friend's computer was pretty horrible. But I can definitely understand the playing devil's advocate and saying, most gamers who don't know about it simply don't really care as well. They'll just notice that something has changed, basically, and many people don't know it any different.
By the way, I just wanted to make a quick announcement. You heard that contest we're talking about. The word for the contest is on our website. Chicken has the link in IRC, so if you join there, you can see the word. All you need is 3 more words, and on the 4th cast, we will be announcing the game that we'll be giving away. So make sure you get that word so you don't miss out for the next few casts. Anyways, going back to the topic. Saints Row 3, taking risks. What do you guys think about the game from Saints Row? Do you think it's too flamboyant, too extreme? What do you think? Let's start off with Chicken.
Well, Saints Row the Third. It looks cheesy. It looks like everybody should be playing it on a console, but it also looks like a ton of fun and absolutely hilarious.
Yes, and I don't know how many of these words we can say on here, but it's pretty grotesque, ain't it?
I wouldn't say grotesque, but kind of funny. Not for some people, I'm sure, but I plan on playing, and my crew is going to be called the Nudes Brothers. We're going to have sunglasses and no clothes.
Paul Storm, are you getting it?
Not really. I think I'll be too busy with the competitive side of Battlefield 3 to take up this. I've got Payday the Heist for quick fixes. Also, we play Trackmania 2 quite a bit, as you know, so I can't see me taking this one up. I mean, it might be a great game, but I just don't have much time to play more than 2 or 3 games.
That's true. There's Skyrim, there's Battlefield 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the Heist. There's a lot of games coming out this year. And that's not even the tip of the iceberg, really. Speaking of which, Gumby wanted to know what we thought of Skyrim. Personally, I don't have any comments on that game other than what I've seen from the trailers. It looks pretty good. I know a few of us don't like those kind of games, but I don't know. I might get it. What do you think, Chicken, Paul Storm, Lemon? Do you guys like that kind of game?
I did kind of like Oblivion. I loved Elder Scrolls 3. It was a great game. Oblivion was, I think, Oblivion's greatest hindrance was the engine. Same with Fallout 3 actually, and actually New Vegas. But from what I've heard is that they finally improved the engine to be somewhat good. As in, it doesn't glitch out like fuck every 20 minutes. And yeah, I'm actually quite interested in it. I mean, I really like these kind of games.
So you like RPGs with medieval stuff, or do you prefer them to be modern with guns?
It's an action RPG, so yes, I actually like medieval RPGs more than games with guns. I mean, you see, action RPGs work best with stuff like swords and magic and things. It just doesn't work well with guns, for instance. I mean, you can see it with Fallout 3. It's a fun game, but they need artificial things like that. How's it called again? These action points, the VAT time, I think, is it?
Yeah.
In order to simulate the character progression with accuracy and all that. But with the mouse and the keyboard, and actually with a shooter, the character progression is more of a hindrance. With swords and all that, and magic, character progression makes sense with action RPGs. But I think overall, RPGs are best played the old style Fallout, Fallout 1, Baldur's Gate, that kind of stuff. That's the RPGs that I really like.
Speaking of those games, I really like Diablo 2. I never really played Diablo much, but Diablo.
It's not really an RPG anyway. That's hack and slash.
Well, what about? Give me an example of an RPG besides Baldur's Gate.
Fallout 1, Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights.
Yes, I have played
Dragons.
that. Dungeons and Dragons and Neverwinter Nights. Epic stuff right there.
Oh yeah.
How many of you guys have played Dungeons and Dragons as a kid?
I have.
Anyone else? No.
Well, I'm the only nerd here, I guess.
I used to play that shit all the
That's
time.
usually how it is.
I see how it is.
Master.
Speaking of which, let's do a quick roundtable. What games have you guys been playing lately, like the last week or so? Carnot, let's start off with you.
Payday, Half-Life, Borderlands, Crisis. I think that's it. Portal 2.
Oh,
that's
okay.
it.
Favorite one of the week so far? Or are they all pretty good?
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
Chicken?
I haven't had a whole lot of time, but I have played some Payday the Heist, some Portal 2, and I think that's it.
Mr. Lemon?
I've been playing some Shogun 2 actually, and quickly went back to Empire, played it with Darth Mod. I've also played Achtung Panzer Charkov 1943, which is actually a pretty damn good game. Really like that. It's kind of a strategy simulator on a company level, individual soldiers and tanks and stuff, but it's more of a simulator than your average Command and Conquer or something. No base building stuff. It's pretty good. For people who know the combat mission series, for instance, it's very similar.
So, what is the objective? Like, so you say you don't really build stuff. You take objectives? What do you do?
Well, yes, it's all key areas. Basically, you start a campaign, and that's basically a historical campaign, and you have a strategy map where you have your platoons and companies, and you can then select, for instance, the makeup of the platoons and companies, like having G squads or having anti-tank guns. And on the ground strategy maps, there are key points that, depending on the operation, a certain side has to take or defend. and once one of these formations clashes, basically the game zooms in, much like Total War, basically. And there you then fight also around the same key areas, but then it's really on a one-to-one scale, kind of.
Okay.
They're really more simulator. It's more of a simulator.
But it's not like it's a simulator in its own regard, like I guess a troop or like a combative simulator, sort of controlling armies.
Yes, kind of. Just for anybody interested, there's a demo. Just Google Achtung Panzer, Charkov 1943. Can also write it in IRC. I'm not in IRC, unfortunately.
Just drop it on the bottom of TeamSpeak, because spelling will be a bitch on that.
Paul Storm, what games have you been playing the last week?
Okay, Call of Duty 4, a lot. PC 2, Payday, and a little bit of Trackmania 2.
Okay, so you've been playing, 4 different games? What's the favorite one of the week so far?
I think the favourite one of the week is probably Payday.
What do you like about it?
It's just a lot of fun. It's new. It feels fresh. You jump on there, like you said earlier. It's not an easy game. The levels are not easy to complete. You got to think. You got to work as a team. Very team focused, and doesn't last too long either. I mean, the campaigns you could probably rip through each one, maybe 20 to 40 minutes, depending on what sort of level you've got it set at. But it's just a good, quick blast. It's a lot of fun.
That's one thing I keep saying is the co-op stuff. It's so easy to get into. In fact, sometimes I rather be playing with 6 people, but I guess it gets to a point of, how much can you add to a game in terms of co-op? How many players can you add before it starts becoming like a clan battle? It's like, what's the point? I think 4 players is probably the perfect amount, in my opinion.
It's great. It's perfect, I think. I mean, it's only 20 quid or whatever it is in America. I'm not sure what it is in the UK, but it's not a lot of money. And you could hook up with 4 of your pals, get on there and have a good time for 40 minutes.
So who here is getting Battlefield 3 day 1?
I am.
I already have it. It's just not unlocked.
True, yeah, I'm getting it too. I'm even taking the day off work to do so. I don't know though, man. I heard we were talking about the launch. Now, I don't think they're going to be crashing, but who knows?
If you look at their last couple releases, their whole login system kind of like to go down, so I'm not taking a day off to play it, but I'll definitely have the evening set aside.
So you think there's not going to be any stability issues on the first day?
Well, I don't know. If you look at...
You think there's going to be stability issues, sorry.
Yeah, there definitely could be.
I think it's a possibility, but I don't think it will happen. I'm staying optimistic.
Oh, don't get me started on Battlefield 3. I'm not going to get it, thanks to Origin. I also didn't play the beta because of Origin. Because apparently EA thinks that Austria is still part of the Third Reich and didn't let me download the game due to German youth protection laws. That was fairly ridiculous, and I just kind of rage quit then, because I'm not going to stay up until 11 PM so I can finally download the game. I mean, for fuck's sake.
What law is this?
Well, apparently EA thought it was German for some strange reason, although neither Origin was set to German, nor was my region set to Germany, so it was a bit strange. But apparently when I tried Origin, when I tried to download the Battlefield 3 beta, it immediately told me that I cannot download it at this point due to German youth protection laws, and I can only download it between 11 PM and 6 AM, which is fairly ridiculous in my opinion.
I'm sorry, I know that hurts, but I just find that really funny why they would do that. It's comical in the bad sense, because I don't understand why they would associate you with Germany. Is that like a new bug in the Origin, or have they fixed it?
I haven't got a clue, and to be honest, I'm not really prepared to have another spyware program running on my computer as well. So Origin really, I mean, I went in with bad expectations about Origin, to be honest. I was fairly reluctant to install it on my computer, and at the end of the day, after having had a very, very bad first impression, I don't see the point in actually using it. Maybe they'll bring it out on Steam at some point, or without Origin, and then I'm probably gonna buy it. But I'm not too excited about the game on itself in order to bite the bullet of Origin.
You make an interesting point. I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are, but I just wanted to say Origin, I at first didn't like the concept, but after about a month I got used to it. It works just pretty much like Steam. It downloads games. It may not have all the features of Steam, but if I can play the games I want to, that's all that matters. It certainly isn't bad, in my opinion. It's actually quite good in different ways. Like I said, it doesn't have many of the features, but I can make do without that if I get to play Battlefield 3. What do you think, Chicken?
Well, Origin, yeah, I didn't like it either at first, but it's growing on me a little bit. Still not a huge fan. I would much prefer everything just over Steam because everybody knows and likes it. And all my games are there anyways, but yeah, no, it's not working too bad. It's kind of interesting that EA is trying to move to more digital to make more money off of their sales. So I think a lot of other companies might start looking to do similar things.
What do you think, Paul?
Got nothing really bad to say about Origin. If the sole purpose of Origin is to eventually distribute all their DLC stuff and sell games digitally, then it's a bit like Steam, I suppose. I'm not a fan of Steam anyway. And I'll be buying my Battlefield 3 hard disk. I won't be using Origin to download it or I won't be buying it through Origin, but I will be adding it to my Origin library by redeeming the code before I install, so I get the best of both worlds, really. But, I'm not a fan of Origin. I'm not really a hater either. It's just part of the thing.
Just another program.
It's just another thing. I mean, I know there's issues about Origin snooping around your computer and all that sort of stuff. But
to be honest, I mean, let me bring up this point. How many of you use MSN, Google Talk, Skype, all these different applications? Isn't Origin just another application?
Yeah, they're all at it. They're all at it, aren't they? Even
Well,
X-Fire.
That's the problem for me, It's another unnecessary program that I don't want. I mean, I've got Steam. I've had it. I was fairly reluctant actually at first using it. I actually quite like it now, but it's another program. I mean, I try to run as few programs as possible. I don't use Xfire. I just use Skype and Google Talk, for instance.
So you're a minimalist.
Definitely, I mean, why? My horror scenario would be is just like Chicken said before, that every company starts doing that. So at the end of the day, if I want to have many games, I'll have 10 programs like Steam running my freaking computer. I mean, I don't see the point in that. The entire point for me in using Steam is because it's one place where I've got all my games digitally. That's the only plus side for Steam for me. That's why I'm using it. Else I would just be running in an instant messenger.
I've got a bit of an issue with Steam though. I mean, I think they got a monopoly on the whole DLC digital purchase thing. I don't think it's I think you let.
But they don't make
you've seen that with
prices,
Activision, haven't you? You let one company get too big, and then they just start like playing funny buggers with you.
Not really. It's just really a shop. But that you see, the entire point for me really using Steam is because I've got all my games apart from the ones I bought like 5 years ago on Steam. That's why I use Steam.
Yeah, you say you don't like running programs, right? But why? That's what Steam is. You need Steam to run games.
Exactly.
In the day, you never used Steam to launch a game. You just run the game from your desktop icon.
Exactly. And the problem is that that's the only thing that I actually like about Steam is because I've got all my games in one place. Now, if 10 companies start doing that, I'll have 10 programs running, and I'll have my games spread over 10 programs and 10 accounts, and it's just a pain in the ass for me. You know,
Well, you have to remember
just
as well, though, you can't.
nullifies the entire point why I use Steam.
Yeah, what you have to remember though, you can't really knock EA for trying to bring out their own thing. I mean, there's a lot of restrictions as far as they're concerned in the deal that they got with Steam.
I'm not knocking
I mean, if
them.
Steam don't allow them to sort of like say, look, this is our game, this is how we want to do it, right? And then you turn around and say, no way, then, you know, if they want to go off and create their own create an Origin thing similar to Steam, just you know, because Steam are just making too many demands on them. You know, that's Steam's fault, isn't it?
I don't know who's actually making the problem. I don't know if we can blame. I don't know who we can blame, or if we don't even have to blame anyone. I mean,
I think Steam's policy is that they can sell it everywhere. The problem is that if they start selling DLC that is not available on Steam, you know, I think that was the problem with why EA did Origin at first, anyway. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really knocking EA for doing another Steam-like program. You know, I can understand why they're doing it, but I'm very consequential in that regard. I'm just not going to use it.
So you don't necessarily like Origin because it's a gaming platform. You like it. You don't like it because it's another program in the sense.
It's not a program and it's not a gaming platform. It completely destroys the reason why I use a gaming platform. I use a gaming platform because I've got all my games centralized. And if I'd have five accounts on 5 different platforms, and all the games spread over all those platforms, it nullifies the reason why I actually use Steam.
What do you think,
I might be
Chicken?
old-fashioned, but I've got a problem with Steam. I've got a big issue with Steam. I don't understand. I think what it does is fantastic. You want to get games, you want to get them digitally, great. You want to get your games patched, great. I don't mind updating my games, downloading patches from the internet. I don't mind doing that. My issue with Steam is, why would I want to run a game through Steam? I mean, if Steam's down, the game's down. You can't run the game. I mean, you might be able to run it offline or whatever, but I mean, I just hate this association. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand
it's
why
the same with Origin.
I need to run Steam.
What are Steam's downtime stats? Like, Steam, from what I've seen and from all my gaming time on Steam, they have very little downtime.
Yeah, it works really well. I've got to agree. I agree with that. But I just, like, you know, I'm just probably too old for this Steam thing. I just can't get my head around it. I still buy my games on disc. You know,
the problem is if you buy it on disc in modern age, you'll either end up with Steam or Origin, because you'll still need, even if you buy Battlefield 3 on disc, you'll still need to run Origin. So that's basically doesn't make any sense anymore for me to buy games on disc, because most of the time you need to run either Steam or something else, or Ubisoft, DIM, whatever.
Well, the other thing is as well, in the UK, I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but a lot of people have got crap internet, and they're on like what we call download cap. You've got bandwidth restrictions. You can only do so much stuff before you get capped, or your speed is reduced and stuff like that. You know, I mean, it doesn't affect me per se because I've got a business-related internet account. But I mean, there's a lot of home users on cheap internet. You know, what them probably parents what are paying for or whatever. But they go over like 2 gig or 5 gig or whatever a month, and that speed's knocked down to 1 gig. I mean, seriously. I mean, with all that,
yeah,
I mean,
that's the problem.
Some of these kids have got like 10, 15, 20 games, not to mention all the free ones. They're all updating and patching and doing things and updating and more patching. As long as you've got that game in your Steam library, you're going to be constantly downloading and updating like multiple games. Do you know what I mean? I don't, you know.
You could disable updating, but that's not. I mean, I can understand that, but then you've also got the problem that even if you buy a disc, a lot of the time, you'll have the problem that you'll still download more than half of the game.
My whole problem with discs is, look at Call of Duty 4. The game itself was fantastic, but then you have 8 patches or something like that. How am I going to install 8 patches manually in a matter of 4 hours? That seems like what it takes. I don't have a problem with patching whatsoever. What I have a problem with is the fact that I have to download 8 or 9 separate files and patch each one manually. What Steam and Origin and any other digital distribution service does for me is I don't have to I no longer have to wait for this download to finish on a patch. I mean, technically I do, but it's automatic. And with Steam, all I have to do is order my game, and now with their new patching system, it makes the patches less significant. So, Paul Storm, I understand your argument, and in some ways I think that's in part of the developer's hands. Like, why would you release a game, let's say like Red Orchestra, and then have these constant 3 to 4 gig patches? That's just ridiculous in my opinion.
That's also down to Steam's system of patching. But I think this entire automated patching is a double-edged sword. I mean, if you have a game that has a lot of mods for specific versions of the game, you'll constantly have to disable updating, and then it's going to be pain in the ass when it updates anyway, or when you play a mod that requires this and that version and you've stopped updating, and then there's an update or do you want to try a different mod and it runs on a different version of the game, and then you update via Steam and then you realise, oh fuck, that's the wrong version again. So that's another thing. It's a double-edged sword. It's not really a problem for multiplayer titles because those are constantly patched, but you always require the latest patch pretty much. But for games that have, especially for strategy games that have a large modding community, or for instance for Mount & Blade, it can be a problem.
That's a good point, actually, isn't it? I mean, there's all these mods that are going on. Look at World at War, look at Call of Duty 4, custom maps, all that sort of thing. It doesn't matter whether you've got Steam or not, you're not going to download no custom maps or mods to your game through Steam, I know.
Well, that's one thing I liked about Arma 2 is that you could actually have a synchronized updating process. It wasn't the cleanest in the book, but it certainly worked. I mean, if the smaller population is going to be playing the mods, I think there should be a tool out there that allows you to automatically update those mods so that you don't have to go through the process. Kind of like how Steam updates patches with games,
Yeah, but with Arma 2 you still have the problem of Steam auto-updating your game, basically, so you still have to have it disabled.
That's true.
On the other hand, you've also got problems like, especially with a game that is both on Steam and not on Steam, you oftentimes have the problem that on the Steam version you've got patches arriving later, up to a couple of days or even a week. So that can be a problem at times. So,
do most of us like this Origin and Steam? Do most of us like the digital distribution platform, or do we hate it? Because personally, I like it. Chicken, you like it, right?
Well, just geographically where I'm located, I'm not out in the sticks by any means, but for some reason there's no true game store in my town that does PC games. It's all console stuff. So for me, Steam is easy. Origin is new, therefore I'm not completely in love with it yet, but it works for Battlefield 3 so far. And in terms of auto patching, ARM is the only game that really I've had problems with that auto patching it, because it'll break certain features. But for most games, it's quite handy. It takes the hunting and downloading of patches and installing them and all that crap. It takes it right out of the equation. And if a patch is 3 gigs, or you have to re-download the whole game again, that's just sloppy dev work. We've railed on a few companies for doing that, and yeah, like Rob can tell you how easy it would be for them to write differential patching, updates for games. So I'm all in favor of auto patching as long as it doesn't break mods and stuff.
All right, let's go on to the next one, Kerbal Space Program. I don't know how many of us besides Lemon and Chicken, including myself, have played it, but for those of you that don't know about Kerbal Space Program, it's an indie game. It's free, or you can donate to help support their cause, so you got nothing to lose. Basically, you build rockets, and you see how fast you can get in and out of the atmosphere. Lemon, let's hear your story.
Yeah, basically, to give a bit of a better view on Kerbal Space Program, at the moment it's in alpha, I think, maybe even in beta, but at the moment I think it's still in alpha. At the end of the day, when they're going to release the game, it's going to be a full-fledged release. That's going to be paid. And their objective in the long term is to include sort of a campaign where you have to develop rocket parts and have funding from the government and have to with those parts, with that research, you have to build your rockets and have to, for instance, complete certain goals. I mean, in the game, as it is now at the moment, yes, you can get in and out of the atmosphere, but I think the most challenging thing is probably getting to stable orbit around the planet Kurth, which is the name of the planet. It's a very fun little game. It's really incredibly fun. It's really simple, but it's very complex at the same time. So I think they've got a really good system of building a rocket, and it's very easy to do. You just need a bit of knowledge behind it, but not much. But perfecting your rocket and making it really good is quite hard actually, and it's a constant battle with all kind of factors, and really trying to make the best rocket possible. Just makes it really addicting and really fun. You literally spend hours perfecting your rocket, doing slight adjustments, replacing one or two modules maybe. It's really, really fun.
You know, the one problem I had with it was that, actually not really a problem, but a quirk. The mods, like the Saturn rocket, I was kind of confused as to how to put that together with the other ones. Is it, because I mean, you put in the part, and then the other one, the default one, is like twice the size, but yet it still manages to connect to it. That's what was confusing for me.
With the mods, there are certain packs that you need, kind of. The mods are, as they are mods, they're all different. Some mods basically require other parts, like connectors from a 1 meter rocket to a 2 meter rocket. Saturn one that you've specified as, I think, 1.75 meters. Generally, and that's a bit awkward size, and you need one specific set of parts to go with that. It's,
what do you think?
I think it's a great feature that they actually let the community create parts on their own. It just gives the game a lot of depth as well.
What did you think of it, Chicken?
The game itself is fun. I wasted a better part of a whole day just seeing how far I could go, how fast I could get out of the atmosphere, how big of a crash I could do. Those were always by accident, but it was fun. And some of the stuff that people have been saying on their forums about putting a satellite into the orbit and jettisoning all the parts of the ship so that they're reusable and go back to the Earth, so to speak, makes the game pretty fun and challenging. But like Rob told me, it's not too hard to just build a kick-ass rocket and fly it. Everybody knows that'll work. So I'm gonna put Rob on the spot, but he had an interesting suggestion for gameplay.
Which would be?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Something about competition-wise. Oh, he's drawing a blank. Anyways, he told me that he thought it'd be kind of cool if you could bet against other players and see how fast you could launch a rocket to get to an altitude or something like that, right?
Oh, yeah. Wager to build rockets. Yeah. I think
that would be kind of fun. Yeah. But
like have a 4-man co-op race to see who can reach the outer atmosphere, basically outside the Earth. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think generally Kerbal Space Program is a game where you really need fantasy. You have to create your own challenges. If you just take the game for what it is and just go, just build a kick-ass rocket and just launch it into space and all out of the solar system, then it's pretty simple and it's getting boring pretty quickly. But you really have to set yourself challenges, try to do hard things, and you really need a bit of fantasy for that. Kind of like Minecraft, actually. It's very, very basic game, but the more challenges you set yourself and the more objectives you set yourself, the more complex it gets, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely. Are you talking about Minecraft, right, or Kerbal?
No, I was just comparing it to Minecraft in the way that it's a very simple game, but if you set yourself objectives with
Oh,
your own
right.
fantasy, it gets very complex very quickly.
Yeah, Kerbal definitely has a lot of. Well, I don't know how much replay value it has with the limited amount of rockets. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton, but I think, like Carnut said, the best thing for it would be to have those bets, like, hey, buddy, I bet you I can get 30 seconds faster than you outside the atmosphere. That'd be pretty fun. Or you
Well,
could,
you can do that, via screenshots already.
well, it's not that.
I mean, you just need a bit of fantasy to do that kind of stuff, You have to be creative yourself and just challenge yourself to do things that are hard, like, as I've said, be in a stable atmosphere, deploy, or like Chicken has said, deploy a
Satellite.
Satellite, exactly, yeah. Land on Earth again in a specific part of the Earth or whatever. That's where the game really gets challenging.
Well, I think something that would make the game absolutely epic is everybody's dreamt of being an astronaut and going to the moon. What if they put a few more moons or other planets out there that you had to kind of calculate trajectories and make like a moon landing? That would be fun as shit.
Yeah, definitely. I think
Like a moon landing simulator or like arcade?
Well, if they, there's the Earth right now. That's the only planet that they have. You can see the sun, but you can never really get there. What if they put like a moon orbiting the Earth, and you had to kind of calculate trajectories and different stages of your rocket, and even go orbit the moon and then come back to Earth and have your 3 stupid little guys survive? Like, that'd be fun.
Exactly, yeah. I think at the end of the day, that's what they're planning to do. It's going to have a real campaign and kind of a story as well, a bit. It's going to be a meta game on itself. At the moment, only the very basics are in place, like actually, building a rocket and that kind of stuff. But the first hints are already there, like hints at the money system. Because each part costs a specific amount of money, but you've got limited money at the moment, so that part isn't implemented yet. So, I mean, it's still an alpha. It's only been I've played it since I think for half a year. I think with their first alpha release, and yeah, it's also gone pretty viral actually. They expected, I think, 5,000 downloads within the first week or month, I think. And they actually got 20,000 downloads within like 3 days or something. So they didn't expect so much publicity and so much that the game would go so viral.
Have they actually gotten good amounts of money from the donations, or not that much?
I've got no clue. They just started maybe a couple of weeks ago.
I didn't know that.
Started
Okay.
the pre-orders. Yeah. Before that, there was no option. There wasn't even a donate button.
Okay. All right. So who's interested in any other topics like Battlefield 3 more, Modern Warfare 3 more? Who's looking forward to playing some Battlefield 3 actually on Tuesday? Looking to kick ass in a 64 server on the jet or helicopter?
Oh, I'm definitely interested in playing. I think I'm gonna jump into single player and hopefully some co-op, depending who's online when I'm there. But then yeah, I'll be looking for some servers to play on, and definitely want to get back in the helicopter because that was fun on whatever map that we got to play Conquest on.
Someone just drop a glass? Anyways. Karna, you want to do some co-op with us on launch? On Battlefield 3?
I'll wait till you guys get a handle on the game and can play, but then yeah, sure.
Oh, I
Ooh,
see how it
those are
is.
fight words.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know Souls, he's the kind of guy that will, I don't know if you stop at the motorway, he's the kind of
Why
guy
do they
that
come
will,
and visit us?
he's the guy of,
Sorry,
he's the
go on,
kind of
Lemon.
guy that will see a bird and will just cross the 6-lane motorway, just following the bird, that kind of stuff. Oh look, explosion! Gotta go there.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying that whenever you're playing co-op or whenever we're playing with you, you're really the kind of guy that will just randomly wander off into the scenery.
Oh, there's people far worse than me, my friend. Far worse than me.
I've yet to play with them. Introduce me to them.
If I did, you would want to kill yourself. Let's not go there, shall we? Anyways, guys, I wanted to thank all of you for being on our show. And for anyone who's wondering about the contest, again, for the late people, we will be doing this for the next 3 weeks. The next show is going to be, obviously, at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I believe that is, 5 p.m. UTC, Karna?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, good. So, with that being said, I'd like to say our goodbyes. Thank you for being on the show, Chicken.
Hey, thanks for having me, as always. Fun.
Thanks, Lemon.
As always, a pleasure.
And thank you, Rob. Karna.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're between banks right now. Just make those checks out to cash. Cave Johnson, we're done here.